Hey everybody, Leaf here, and today I want to do my first stage breakdown for you. And I'm looking through the list here, and I think I'm going to start with Alexandria. So in this series, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the stages and what you might want to have in mind when you're playing the stages. Now, obviously, Alexandria has the big bazaar in the middle of the stage. And so it's circular, and you have a small space all around that you can travel in. And it's a small stage itself, so there's actually a lot to think about. I'm going to jump right into the fight and talk to you about it as I go. Now, the first thing that you'll see a lot of players do in this stage is try to use the area in the middle to snipe for attacks. So if you have a character who has an attack who their attack spawns on the location of the opponent, the beginning of the match is a time where you can often try to score an early hit. So Bart's, for example, has Black Mage. See, I hit someone on the other side. So that's something you can do to try to surprise the opponent. Lots of characters have attacks that will go through it. Squall, for instance, I believe his blasting zone goes through it. Now, another thing you want to think about is how you can traverse this big obstacle. Obviously, you can run up it, but if there's people above it, you can use your attacks to cover the distance, like so. Oh, Bart's goes really far with that. Now, some other things to think about is these cul-de-sacs around the stage, and you kind of want to avoid them. That one over there is not too bad, but there's some cul-de-sacs in other places that really pose a problem. Let's see if I can lure the enemy into one so I can show you. Like this area. Even if you were to wall rush someone into this area, I would actually avoid following up unless you know your teammates have your back or you're alone, because once you come into this area, you're trapped. And it's a good way to get revenge killed by the opponent, or just maybe not even be able to finish your follow-up. It's just a bad area to be in. If you wall rush someone, I would always immediately check my surroundings. Some other areas that are good are these small side areas that have obstacles, because all of these obstacles will protect you from shoot characters. None of their attacks will go through them. Here, for instance, I'll do Bart's Ranger. See? It stopped it. It even stops the HP attacks, so these are good places to hide from shoots in a crisis. If you're inside of this, like Golbez's Night Glow, nothing like that is going to hit you. You can just step behind any of this stuff. By contrast, if you're a shoot, you don't want to get stuck behind these things while you're trying to retaliate and fight back, because by the same token, attacks don't come in, and they also don't go out. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And here is another one of those very small cul-de-sacs that it's not quite as deep as the other one, but again, it's a place where you should watch out if you're thinking of following up an opponent. And here is the final area of, I guess, stalls for shopping, of things that will protect you. So, one thing that people forget to do is just travel up and over this area to get to enemies. The thing about that is that if I'm locked onto someone and they see that I'm coming straight at them and they're on the other side of that, they know I'm coming over that, so they can prepare a countermeasure. For instance, if Squall is standing on the other side and I just start walking over, if he uses Thunder Barret, as soon as I cross the top, he'll pull me straight to him. So be mindful of what your opponent is doing when you try to cross over the top of this. Another point about this bazaar in the middle is that if your team has strong ranged options, okay, so it's more spacey over here, but in some areas the corridor is quite narrow, like right here, and you don't want to try to force your way into the enemy team in this area because they will wall you out with projectiles. So that's something that's you really have to think about with this game, so you need to vary up your approach and maybe come over the top of this, try to break up their formation, or just stay on your side and let them come to you. If they're coming to you, then you know you should have a plan about what you want to do. The final area in this stage that's needs talking about is the top area. Now, once you get up this high, the wall is very close to you, so you definitely need to be careful when you're in this area. By the same token, it's a good place to push an enemy to, because if you're able to push an enemy into the wall up there, you're pretty safe to follow up on your attack, because it will take them a while to make it to you. So that's pretty much all my important points as I see it for Alexandria. Be careful in the corridors. If you're in the corridors, I recommend staying closer to the inner circle wall, and that's because, you see, there's not many obstacles. If you come out here, like say you get pushed into a corner, and you can't see, you see how the stage becomes transparent? So if someone launches an HP attack at you and you're not aware that you're standing next to this wall and you sidestep to the right, you don't go anywhere and you still get hit by the HP. And that happens in lots of areas. If you're right here and you're trying to sidestep, right here you'll often get caught by a wall. This is a fairly open space, and then you sidestep and there's a wall right there. And that happens a lot around the outside ring of the stage, especially in the areas where I was talking about you being protected earlier. These things sidestep right into this and not go anywhere. So those are my thoughts on Alexandria. Be careful of trying to push your way into the enemy team in the corridors because of shoots. Be willing to come over this to get to your enemies, but also be careful about it, and stay out of the cul-de-sacs. Even if you think you have a follow-up, be aware that is a risky proposition. So that's my brief assessment of Alexandria. I hope it helps you guys out next time you're in the stage and you're thinking about what you can do, where you can go, and how you can affect the battle. Until next time.